Hello, I'm Timothy Linsdau, video producer and a Christian living a couple of miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. I see in the local paper, people, drugs passing through the new wall. What is that all about? Okay, before I start here, like and comment on my videos, subscribe to my channel, that'd be terrific. Keep this thing going. Yeah, I live only a couple miles from this amazing border down here. One of the busiest borders, if not the busiest border in the world. And some of you may have noticed in the news about the new wall that's being built. I've sent out some photos and video of that. And it's a bollard construction. It's these square steel beams with sheer steel plates on top. So it makes it very difficult to get over the top. And about the size of a three-story building. Pretty impressive, filled with concrete. But according to this article, the devious cartels have figured out if they can get a saw or a reciprocating saw at Home Depot, probably right down the street from me. And some of these now are cordless. And they just get the right saw blade and they can cut through those bollards. And they cut, if they're just trafficking a few people, they cut the bottom of the bollard, and it gives a tremendous amount of leverage when you're at the bottom. You can, with not too much effort, probably push that bollard out of the way, because there's only about a 4-inch space between the bollards. But you get one out of the way, you get enough room for a small person to go through there. So that's what some anonymous agents have said. They are not authorized to speak, so they're speaking anonymously according to this article. Now, the article is more of an op-ed in the way they speak. These tools can easily slice through, and simple tools you can buy for less than $100. Okay. The cartels are, multi-billion-dollar operations down in Mexico, probably infiltrating most of the government, who knows. Anyway, they're functioning big businesses. And the wall is going to affect their business. They're going to figure out a way around it. So that's how it goes. So anyway, that's basically what they'll do. They'll cut the bottom. Now, the thing is, this has got to be an area that's not sensitized, if you will, to electronic equipment, or that has enough Border Patrol action going by there to see what somebody's doing. Now remember, that border is built in a lot of very remote, rough locations. And if somebody doesn't see them, they have the time, they cut through and do their thing. Now the wall is patrolled, but not apparently 100% of the time for every foot of it. So I've been in some of the back country to see some of that wall, and it's pretty rough country. Even though they've built some nice roads and bridges for the Customs and Border Patrol people to move through there quickly. But anyway, apparently, according to the paper and some of these anonymous agents, that's what's going on down there, and getting through the wall. So I'm assuming, hopefully this is news and not just op-ed, but anyway. The wall itself now has a $10 billion price tag. Of course, the central theme of Trump's campaign, and I guess you call it a physical symbol of his campaign, and some, quote, virtually impenetrable, likening it to a Rolls Royce of walls. There's politics for you. In other words, you can't get over it, can't get under it or through it, which in history has always proved to be false. Any ancient fortress was, look at the fortress of Masada in Israel, high up on this tower of a plateau, and the Romans, in a rather short time, built a dirt ramp up the side of that mountain to get at that fortress and captured it. It can be done. But anyway, the idea of this wall, of course, is to slow down the trafficking, and according to some of the officials, that's what it's doing, especially in the San Diego El Centro sector. Mexican criminal organizations generate billions of dollars from smuggling profits, and they, of course, have an enormous incentive to get that job done, to move that over. The U.S. government officially has not spoken up on this breaching of the wall, for whatever political reasons that may be. It's unclear how many times this may have occurred, but Customs and Border Protection have declined to provide that information yet, where the breaches or locations or the process of repairing may be going on. And as I've done in the past, myself walked along the wall. I'm probably not going to see anything, especially in this area, from the ocean to Otay Mountain. It's got to be the most patrolled piece of real estate in the world. I mean, they're border patrol all over. If I go down there hiking and they don't see me come in or walk into the brush somewhere, they'll sometimes send a quad, an agent riding on a quad, and they'll see me and just ride on by like they were just patrolling the area and not say a word. Sometimes stop and talk. No big deal. They can tell what I'm doing, who I am. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I did do a film on Otay Mountain here some years ago that many of us have seen. The CPB, the Customs and Border Protection, have not yet fulfilled a Freedom of Information Act request seeking data about this issue. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, who oversee the private construction of this, have referred all inquiries to the Customs and Border Protection people. So, on with the politics and the government. As to whether how widespread this damage is or not, I noticed later on in the article it speaks that some of the agents have said it's occurring in areas that have not yet been outfitted with electronic devices to sense anybody tampering with the wall. And I suspect that's true. As they're building the wall, these devices come up behind them as they're going out across. You know, that's a long, difficult border. If Mexico were to take the time to stop all the things that are coming through their country, I mean, how many things are coming through the U.S. going that direction, or Canada? Probably not a lot, huh? So, whatever's going on with Mexico, either accepting a lot of money to do these things, who knows? It's highly probable, I guess. Difficult. Well, anyway, it is a formidable barrier. Trump had originally wanted a concrete wall, probably something like what they have in Israel, around Jerusalem area there. Apparently that has worked. But the Customs and Border Protection were against the idea of a concrete wall because you can't see through it, obviously. They wanted to be able to see what's going on. And that's why they like this bollard system of these steel tubes. Well, they're square and filled with concrete with the flat steel at the top, so it's hard to grasp a hold of it or anything like that, because they could see what's going on easily. And apparently that's why they wanted it. One of the Ronald Vitillo, it could be, or Vitello, former U.S. Border Patrol chief, says this poking and probing and prodding by smuggling crews goes on because that's life on this border. There's so much money involved, and if they have some free reign, they're going to just keep on going. There's a saying I've heard in the cartel that it's either silver or lead for coercing people into doing what they want you to do. You either take the money or you take the lead from their guns. Pretty formidable stuff. The bollards are not the most evolved design, some of the agents say, but they are the most evolved for the money they had to build it. Some of them are complaining that the Democrats didn't give them the money they needed to build what they wanted to build. The politics goes on. It says if damage detected, welding crews are promptly sent out to make their fixes and to get it done. Some of the smugglers try to, as the agents cruise the wall, they're watching for any deviations in the bollards or any damage they might see. According to this, some of the smugglers have found certain color putties and designs with the putties to cover up their work. See if they can cut the bottom of a bollard, push it out of the way, and somebody gets through, and they bring it back into place and putty it. Because it's easier just to go back there and push the putty out of the way. But according to this article, that has happened. But I don't think anybody officially has said that. But anyway, agents in California and Texas said smuggling teams have also used improvised ladders made out of rebar. Now, those of you around concrete construction know what rebar is. It's the iron metal rods used to put and reinforce concrete. So you can buy it at any hardware store. Like I said, probably down at my local Home Depot, and easy to weld and put together and make ladders. And they will use these tall 30-foot ladders of some kind, and then they'll get up and drop a rope ladder, or they'll use this rebar type ladder. There's nothing new about breaching fortresses. And it's bound to go on. Trump initially wanted to build a concrete wall, as I said, but the security officials wanted the bollard system so they could see through. Frankly, he said a concrete wall would have been actually much less expensive to build. But it's always a compromise between what the officials want and or know and need versus the politician. When I did that film in Otay Mountain, I discovered some of that. The way Otay Mountain was designated a wilderness area. Wilderness areas are not supposed to be able to take any vehicles or motorized devices into them. But what they did on Otay Mountain is actually split it into sections so they could have roads going through it so that the Border Patrol could work their way around the mountain to protect the border. And also fire departments to keep and suppress fire down. And at one time you could easily drive up on a mountain, a beautiful place you can drive in your car, but there's a issue with private property there now stopping us. So too bad about that. It was a wonderful place to go. But the CPB officials also have consistently said that no single structure, regardless of its design, can seal the border. Border wall system, that's what they talk about as a system. You need to combine physical barriers, surveillance technology, and rapid deployment of agents. Back to the silver, one of the officials says there's no silver bullet. We've done our best to explain that. It takes a combination of things. He said you're always going to need boots on the ground. And he said an example is Fort Knox still has armed guards. So there you are. It's a combination of things. And it's too bad that we have to do that. At one time it was just a barbed wire fence down there years and years ago. But it's the way people are, and it's the way these things go. Hopefully they go better. So be part of the good thing. Like and comment on my videos. Subscribe to my channel. Just get out there and make it a great day.